everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Powerful Stuff. Guys, happy Memorial Day. We're recording this episode right at the buzzer. I know what you loyal listeners might have been thinking. Did Meredith literally miss a week and break her streak for the first time in a year and a half? And lo and behold, everyone, I mustered up the strength, I mustered up the musings to give you this Powerful Stuff episode before Monday is over. So the streak remains intact and we remain powerful. And today is going to be another little anecdote episode about belonging and what to do when old stories reappear. The last few weeks, I feel like I've been, we've kind of gone through ceremonies together. They've been a little bit more on the spiritual tactical side, if you will, but not as many of the personal anecdotes. So we're just going to bring the anecdote back in with my own, yours truly, story about my ever evolving journey with, belonging and returning to compassionately rewire and shed old stories. So if you're feeling an old story come up this week, or if you as well kind of are ever constantly healing that wound of, am I enough? Do I deserve to belong? Am I fitting in with everyone? This episode is for you guys as well. And we're going to go through it together. We are going to get into it. We're going to get those steps in, as always, the literal steps, metaphorical steps. And we are going to just like return to our center, return to our power. And isn't that a beautiful thing? And of course, we're going to close out with our meditation, but I didn't need to tell you guys that. Okay, so the anecdote, you all must be wondering. So I might have told you guys in past episodes, but a kind of constant journey of mine is this journey of trusting that I do belong. And I know it's a thing that a lot of us work through, right? Like I'm a super extrovert now. I love planning community things. That's why I have Powerful Stuff. In my past, co-founder of More of That, which led community experiences. Like my whole brand is centered around inner connection to ourselves, outer connection to others. I have loved storytelling and learning other people's stories since the dawn of Meredith Baker time. And also on the other side of that coin, it came from kind of little painful moments of childhood. Even though I had a great childhood in many ways, like I went from an elementary school in for a private elementary school with like 5 other kids in my grade in 5th grade to a huge public school in 6th grade with like 300 kids in my grade. And I might have told you guys before, but in 6th grade, I was super lonely, teacher's pet. And the girls that I knew who maybe had been in my private school earlier, but transferred to public school before me. And so had like friends from their public elementary school, like they were in the popular crew at middle school. And I had that first year of 6th grade that was super painful, where like I was just teacher's pet, obsessing over my grades because that was the only thing I can control. I remember literally once I cried because I got a 96 on a math test. I was like, why not 100? And also like on that same breath, that those like Friday nights, I would check, the caller ID, like back in the day before we had our cell phones. I would check the caller ID and see like, is somebody gonna call me to hang out this Friday? Could it be? And once I like asked these girls to hang out with me one Friday and they said they couldn't, like all of them gave a different excuse. And this is like such a story, like straight out of like Mean Girls or one of those Disney Channel original movies, where my dad then took me to the movies to cheer me up. Shout out, Dad, you're the best. And I saw those girls there and it was like super awkward. And I feel like Taylor Swift and other people have their own versions of their stories with like the popular clique. And so I've made my whole journey, right? Like belonging. Like I want to feel belonging. I want other people to feel belonging. That's what I strive for in my group coaching program in the upgrade, and encourage a lot of the women to start their own communities or movements, or even just like if they're not happy with like the depth of their current friendships, like how to like go out there and make different and new friends and kind of create what they want to attract within themselves, which I'm also a huge proponent of. So we'll tackle this from a few different angles today, guys. But yeah, so long story short, how it ties into this week is, the last month we've been regrounding in LA after our 5 months traveling. We had really missed our community. And so it's good to be back. And at the same time, I've realized I put a little bit of expectation on each weekend here in LA because we're also gone for so many weekends in the summer for various weddings, which is, yeah, also such a thing to be grateful for, of having friends who are having weddings in really cool places and all over the country and world. And we're like blessed and grateful to be going to those. But this is just how the inner mind works and why these younger stories are so powerful of telling us these outdated things about ourselves. All of that's to say, this weekend rolls around, right? Last week I had hung out with some friends, worked out with some friends in the morning. I led a best morning ever last week. Thanks to any of you listening who came. It truly was the best morning ever. We're doing it monthly on Fridays on the beach. If you want to come to the next one. But anyways, Spencer was gone last weekend and this weekend, and the weekends felt more precious because we were going to be gone a lot this summer. And also because, I mentioned to you guys that we're thinking about entering into the parenthood portal this year. And so it's like, oh, it is also kind of like potentially my last summer in the maidenhood era before I enter into motherhood. So it's like such a, sacred time before transitioning into a new and other beautiful chapter. So anyways, this weekend rolls around and okay. And also the other caveat I'll say too is there was some health stuff going on with a member of my family. So yeah, was feeling like pulled in that direction as well, like kind of ungrounding or unsettling, especially when you're not in the same city as them, to like be by their side. So all of that's to say, Friday rolls around and I don't have any plans at night. Oh, a few friends are gone for Memorial Day weekend as well. Spencer's gone. And I noticed myself as it was starting to creep into the afternoon, evening. I noticed like a darkness start to take over where I was just like starting to notice like these invasive thoughts coming more and more, whereas like no one invites me to anything, or like I always have to invite everyone to everything. And if they don't invite me to something, like I won't get invited. Like if I stop, or as in like if I stop inviting people to things, like then I won't be thought of. I'll be forgotten is kind of a story that I was telling myself. And I was like, yeah, just noticed that feeling feel louder and louder as the evening approached Friday. And I like did cast out some lines to like text some friends. And some people couldn't make it or had other plans for whatever which reason. And yeah, I just noticed myself feeling this like sadness mixed with anger of like I go out of my way to create experiences for other people, and I've never thought of. I started like having these like what is it called? Not ultimatum, but where it's like absolutist thoughts of like I never get invited, da da da. And I just felt this like anger and sadness for little Meredith, and it reminded me of this story that I read when I was a child about this. It was like a dog mailman, in some of the cartoons where it's like animal, personified animals. And he would always deliver mail to other people and families, and they would always get all these beautiful handwritten cards. And then it was like his birthday, and no one gave him a card. He didn't have any mail. And then like he got sick. And then finally, like right at the buzzer, like someone who he always delivered mail to collected mail from all the neighbors to bring to him. And they had get well cards for him. And it was so sweet. Anyways, so I was kind of going into a woe is me energy. I'm not going to lie to you guys, even though my intellectual and rational self was like, I was just invited to a friend's birthday last night. I'm working out with someone tomorrow morning. Like, I have friends that love me. I'm going to these weddings like around the world. But sometimes, the first step to moving through an emotion isn't to necessarily like negate it or be like, but I should be grateful. So I was like, okay, time to dust off the toolkit that I give to my clients. It's not like we rid ourselves of a belief and it never comes up again. When they come up, I like to say it's just an alarm bell that our inner self needs a little love, a little extra TLC. And so, it's not something to be ashamed of or to be like, oh, I thought I solved this in the Hoffman process or at my last ayahuasca retreat. It's to be like, okay, inner Meredith is saying these things. I'm going to slow the conversation down. I'm going to let her speak. I'm going to let her get out that anger and rage and sadness and let her shadow side speak with it for a second. And then we're going to return to the truth of what is. And then we're going to enjoy and savor this time with ourselves. So I'll get to the steps that I went through and you can kind of follow along, guys. But the first step was I like wrote out all these things that my negative self-talk was saying. And we've done this in other podcast episodes before, but I wrote all those beliefs out. But I wrote out before each statement the story I'm telling myself is, right? To separate myself from the belief, to not like reinforce that it's something true. But I'm like, the story I'm telling myself is that like I'm I don't belong here and people don't want to invite me to things. The story I'm telling myself is I'm not the cool like girl that people want at their parties. The story I'm telling myself is if I stop inviting people to things, like I'll be forgotten. And so I wrote them all out, and I like maybe even wrote like a little fuck you letter or two to like, yeah, people or situations that I just found frustrating that it was bringing up, whether it was like recent or in the past. And then I did a little like pillow scream. So getting like the expression out, right? We start with the awareness, getting out those stories. Then we get the expression out. So I like did a little pillow scream. I did a little like angry dance and stomp around the apartment. After all, I did have it to myself while Spencer was away. And this is probably exactly what he would imagine that I was doing while he was away. And so anyways, so I did that. And then afterwards, I wrote a letter to younger Meredith, kind of like I was speaking to her, like her wise, maternal, older self of like, hey, Meredith, that makes sense that you feel like you don't belong. I know how painful and sucky that was in sixth grade when you were going through that, while also all of those girls probably were so afraid of feeling left out that they were grateful that you were the scapegoat because they also had that same fear. And it has nothing to do with how lovable you are. And you've gone on to create such incredible spaces for yourself and others to feel like you belong. And here's all the friends and all the evidence that we have to support that you do, in fact, belong, right? And I gently reminded little Meredith all the things that I have done with friends, all the friends who proactively text me and who do invite me to cool things. And shout out to my friend Jenny, who I ended up going on a walk with Saturday night, which was my Saturday night plan this week. And yeah, and her husband planned a Survivor Day for us on Sunday, which was so fun. And like, yeah, I love friends that plan like fun game nights and things that get us into our play. Because that's, yeah, one of my core values and tenets, play is power. All of that's to say, guys. So yeah, I wrote little Meredith that letter. And then I was like, what do you need right now? And it turns out that Meredith needed me to be fully present with her. You know, what we seek from others, we need from ourselves, because while I was so focused on who wasn't texting me, I wasn't being present with myself. I wasn't showing little Meredith that she deserved undivided attention if I was looking for it from other people or then scrolling on my phone. And so my reframe and my commitment to little Meredith at the end of the letter was like, I promise to like use tonight to just be the two of us. What do you want to do? Do you want to play guitar? Do you want to have a bath? Like, I'm here. Let's do it. And I don't care who else texts us because I'm here with you. And that's the most important thing. And we're going to have fun together. So it wasn't giving my energy away to others who were or weren't going to text me, but it was calling it back to myself. And as soon as I did that, wouldn't you know it, guys, it was like the emotional X-lax that I needed. You know, I felt instantly better, like belonging, trust, all came back to me as I was spending this nourishing time with myself, not distracting myself. And if you think of it like a parent, right? It's like if you're with your kid, but you're on your phone, or like if you were the kid and your parent was with you, but they were distracted, like you knew that and it didn't feel nourishing and it still didn't make you feel like super good. So it's that whole idea. And then my reframe, my final reframe that I ended the letter with was, you're going to be a mom this coming year. And this is your like last year or like, last summer in your maidenhood. And like, this is sacred time with yourself in this chapter. And so like, regardless of who else is there, this is time with yourself that you'll never get again in the same way. And on the same breath, like when you do have kids, you'll want them to feel this level of enough and belonging So working on giving that to yourself now helps you not carry the wounded or lacking energy into the next generation because you're so present with yourself. And so I ended the letter with that. And then the final step, right? We had awareness, we got it out onto paper, and then the expression of like viscerally getting out of our body. And that can be breath work, screaming, whatever. Then I had the kind of forgiveness, self-compassion of writing myself the letter, step 4. And then step 5 is the new behavior, which we've talked about in the cycle of transformation, the 4 steps: awareness, expression, the somatic release, self-compassion and forgiveness, the 3rd step, and new behavior. So the new behavior was actually doing the thing. I took myself rollerblading. I had a solo date at pho this weekend. I played guitar. I wrote a verse to a new song. I took a bath. I reset up my Kindle and asked ChatGPT to recommend me a book that I might like. And I started reading that book. I called a friend who didn't live in LA. And I went for a long evening sunset walk. And so all of these things then helped me feel like I was tapping more into my belonging. And when I have that with myself, the things with friends or even with Spencer, with my partner, become an added bonus because I'm not looking for anyone to fill this from me. And so that was my takeaway, guys. And so with belonging, even the most extroverted of us can feel that wound. And oftentimes when you are extroverted or a community builder, it might have come from having a wound as a child that you wanted to heal, and you want other people not to have to feel that. So it's like continuing to use this as a gentle time and reminder for yourself, whether your old belief that's come up was about belonging or it might be about something else entirely. But you can take yourself through these 4 steps: the awareness, letting it speak; the expression, getting it out of your body; that self-compassion, that letter to younger self, letting them know like you get it, you empathize with them, and here's all the evidence to show otherwise, that we don't need to carry that belief in our adult life. And then that new behavior where you actually put your money where your mouth is, you put it into practice. I had a great solo date at pho. And like I said, I ended up going for a walk with my friend Jenny and telling her that I had these thoughts, having a little laugh about it now. And and it was just a reminder to like continue to view time with myself with a deep presence that I love getting when I'm with friends. So with that, we'll close with a little meditation. If you want to close your eyes, take a deep breath in through your nose, reach both hands up to the sky, and exhale. This time, bring your hands to heart center, bringing it down through the center. Another breath in, breathing in through your nose as you root your hips down. Exhale, second time, bringing your hands through center. Really releasing, sinking in. Third time, deep breath in, stretching even taller. And as you exhale and bring your hands through center, feel a wave of deep relaxation wash over you as you rest your hands on your knees. Whatever old belief you're working with now, imagining that you can feel it in your body, noticing where you feel it. Is the belonging leaving a hole in your heart, or whatever the belief is? Is it chatter in your head? Is it in your stomach, your throat? Wherever it is, breathe it up. Let your body know it's safe to feel it. Breathing it up till you feel it fully. And then place your hands on the part of your body where you feel it most, almost like you're imagining excavating it, like you're going deep into a portal, climbing down a ladder into this part of yourself, deep, 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 deep into this part of yourself. And you climb all the way down the ladder until you reach an opening of a scene from your childhood where you first learned this belief. Noticing how old you are in this scene. Noticing who else is in the scene. And what they're doing. And noticing your younger self, how they start to develop this belief. how they somehow start to believe that holding on to this belief will keep them safe. Gently approaching them, getting to their eye level, maybe bending down on your knees, asking them if it's okay to ask them a question, and then just asking them, why did they develop this belief? Why did they believe that it will somehow keep them safe? Trusting whatever they say. And then asking them, why do they fear letting it go now? Why do they fear letting this belief go now? Who would they be without this belief? Again, no judgment, just curiosity. And then ask them what they need from you to trust you, that they can release this belief. They don't have to carry it with them. What do they need from you? What do you need to do or show them that you're not going anywhere, no matter what, as you break this old belief and rewire it? Letting them know that you can do that. Letting them know that you love them unconditionally, regardless of what other people think, if other people show up. You've got them. That being the most important thing. And then as you let them know this, coming in for a hug, feeling your heart against theirs, feeling a golden light activate in your heart, diffusing this light to wherever part of your body was feeling tension from the heaviness. And as you feel the golden light diffuse to that part of your body, getting a glimpse in this hug of that you on the other side of this belief, the you who knows they belong or who knows they're enough. How are you showing up differently? How does your energy shift? What do you know to be true about yourself? And how is that magnetic? Feeling that now, feeling your inner child, feel that now as well, so they can feel that palpable sensation of this positive upward spiral. Giving them one more squeeze, feeling it with them. And then slowly getting back on the ladder, climbing all the way up through the portal from your childhood into the present day, still feeling the golden light, even brighter than before, taking a deep breath in and exhale, open your mouth, sigh it out as you softly and slowly open your eyes, coming back into this space. And then maybe writing down what you saw, writing down anything, any additional insights to your letter or any additional vow renewals to your younger self of what you can do, or any additional, like, who is the me who knows she belongs, or who knows he belongs, or who knows she's enough, or who knows he's enough. What are they doing? And how are they showing up? And how does this shift their behavior at work or with their friends? You can do a little journal rampage around it in a positive sense. And then take action on it. Do that thing with yourself. Sit in presence. Don't wait for someone else to do it. Be that catalyst for yourself. And then, as I said in past episodes, be the catalyst for others. Once you do feel like you're really centered in that belonging for yourself, then, like the plans you want with the friends, create that for yourself and invite them along, and know that you're going to be doing it either way. So if they came along, great. And if they don't, that's okay. And the two other hot tips I'll say that I've mentioned on past podcasts before too, with one with this belief, is that you can also add in a little shadow work, little existential kink with the belonging. If you wanted to have fun with it when you're telling yourself the old story, and that would just be like, I just love feeling like I don't belong. I love using every opportunity or looking on people's stories as evidence that they're hanging out without me. I just knew it and I just love it. I love feeling like a loser at home by myself on a Friday night. So that's just a fun way to like give your shadow side a name and just laugh with it, have a little fun with it. That's number one. And then number two, which I'll say, which is really powerful, is We've done ideal scenes before. So it's like writing out your ideal vision if you aren't truly happy with your community now, or you want more like proactive friends or whatever it might be. Like write out like we are planning adventures together. We are showing up for each other's birthdays or special life events. We are blank, blank, blank. And then it's like, how can you do that for yourself? And then like starting to call in or double down people, or where might I find these people? What types of events? How can I introduce myself to these people? Or maybe I have a dinner party and invite friends and ask each friend to bring a plus one that they really love that the group hasn't met yet. So how can I also start to take that outer action to expand my circle too? But of course, starting with the inner belonging, because we are the only people who can give that to ourselves. And that is the episode today, guys. We did it. Thanks for bearing with me on this journey. I hope you enjoy all the plans that you have with yourself, first and foremost, and with others this week. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being with me for powerful stuff. I will see you next week. And here is to us all belonging. And isn't that the most powerful thing of all? Hey, you. Thank you for coming on this powerful journey with me. I hope it was as powerful for you as it was for me. And if it was, it would mean the world to me if you rate, review, and subscribe to Powerful Stuff so I can keep bringing you the goods. We can keep going on this transformative journey together. And if there's powerful stuff that you want to share with me, with the Powerful Stuff community, tag us on Instagram at That's Powerful Stuff or the Meredith Baker. And I look forward to seeing you next week for more powerful stuff.